Nothing even comes close. That's what students say about the learning experiences and the relationships they build at an SC conference. We'll explore that chemistry next. Welcome to SC21 TV. I'm your host, Charla Bokikio. We are live at the SC21 News Desk, meeting leaders in the world of high-performance computing. With me now is Jay Lofstead, who is 2021 Chair of Students, and Alana Romanella, 2022 Student Programming Chair. We're also joined by some of the students in the program, who we will meet in just a moment. Welcome to everybody. How are you all finding St. Louis?
Great.
Beautiful.
Great.
Cold the first couple days.
Yes.
Yeah. Beautiful day yesterday.
Oh my God.
Did you go out for a walk?
Beautiful.
It was so nice.
Have you seen the arch?
Yes.
Yes.
You got to ride the elevator that goes up at an angle.
I did not
get
ride
in
the
little way.
elevator. I didn't get that
It
experience.
sounded scary to me,
Yes.
so I did not
It is.
do
It is scary. It's kind of cramped.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're really
But
tight in
but you got a
too.
window, so you can see the infrastructure, the arches you go up. So it's a good nerd experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was a little worried about being in an enclosed space during COVID, so I'm like, I'll just walk around.
Yep.
Okay. Well, so let's get started with some introductions here. We have 3 students that are involved in the program. I'm going to let you introduce yourselves, tell us what school you go to, and maybe what level of education you are. And if you have a title with your student thing, I don't know, you can give us a fun fact about you.
Great. Here, I guess I'll start then.
Please.
It is. My name is Connor. I am a scaler, which is our student lead volunteers in charge of wayfinding, and I come from the University of Arizona, and I'm a third-year PhD student.
Excellent. What's a fun fact about you, Connor?
Oh man, fun fact. My undergraduate degree is actually in philosophy. Yes.
Who's your favorite philosopher?
Oh, favorite philosopher is probably, God, there's so many. That's such a hard question. I guess Nietzsche is really pretty high up on the list.
Okay,
Yes.
excellent.
Also a master of ceremonies.
Oh, that's very kind of him to say, but yeah. I've
Another
done it
fun
before.
fact about Connor. Okay. Elmir.
Yep. So my name is Elmir. I am an undergraduate, 4th year. I'm from the University of Utah, currently working in their HPC program, the Center for High Performance Computing. And a fun fact about me is I've had about 5 concussions. And
Oh, wow.
I am here. Yeah. So
Plugging along.
I am just chugging along at this point.
I also live in Salt Lake City. I'm
wow.
an alumna
Of the University of
Utah, but in the theater department.
Know nothing about that, sadly.
And I know nothing about high performance computing. I'm finding out this week a lot. Tasmia?
Yes, Tasmia Reza. I'm a graduate student from Clemson University. I am finishing up my master's and I will be graduating this December with a master's in computer engineering. I have been researching on a high performance computing field. So I am going to be really excited to go in the work field, and continue my field of interest.
Excellent. What's a fun fact about you?
Fun fact, I love traveling. I'm an international student, so it has been a great enriching experience for me to come here and to be introduced in a new culture, and obviously in supercomputing,
Right.
to get too close to the tech industry.
Excellent. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. So let's get to Alana and Jay. Introduce yourselves. Tell us what your day jobs are, and also just what's your kind of role here in SC.
Sure. So I'm from Virginia Tech, and I am the Assistant Director for Education and Outreach for Advanced Research Computing there. That's my day job, and then I like to say my day and my evening job is being chair for student volunteers this year, which has been incredibly rewarding, and I gain a lot of excitement and enthusiasm, from the students and what they're bringing to the conference.
Excellent. Jay.
So I am at Sandia National Laboratories, and my day job is focused around research topics around data management and storage and workflows and a lot of things around that. And this year I am the overall chair for the student programming, and probably my other job that I have at SC is that I am the deliverer of fine quality chocolates for people who know to ask me.
That is your special skill.
That is my special skill. I have built an amazing network through my chocolate distribution.
Wow, you need to hook us up over here at the SC20 News or SC21 News.
If I'm carrying a cooler bag with me this year and you walk up and ask me for chocolate, if I have any left, you're welcome to a piece.
It reminds me of my grandfather. He worked for Kraft, and he always had caramels in his hand. So he would make us shake his hand when we would see him, and he would slip us a caramel. So you are that brings back wonderful memories. So in the last segment, we had you two on and some other students, and we were talking about primarily this year's conference. So let's look ahead. Let's put our little crystal ball to work. And what's in store for next year? Because I know you're heading that up.
So I'll be doing student programming, and I'm really excited. I have just been forming my committee together. I've been working with Jay and Jeanette, and what I really want to bring to the table is a focus on AI and machine learning, and then also kind of bring some of those soft skills that we've had in prior conferences, like your traditional resume builders, your career panels, but with a focus on really having industry, academia, and national labs kind of at all levels, from junior level to senior level, and bringing that in for student programming.
Great. What is your role going to be next year?
So next year, I currently have 2 roles, and the first role is I'm actually going to be vice chair for the student volunteers. So I would be the assistant to whoever's in Alana's role this year. That's a little bit of a weird setup, but we're having one of our former Scale students, like Connor is this year, who was a committee member and ran the Scale program last year. She's going to take over the student volunteers, and I'm going to be there kind of as a support system in case she has any confidence issues, because we know she can take care of it. It's just a matter of she needs a little confidence. The other thing is I'm working with the inclusivity committee, and my initial role is for the new volunteers. So we had a sign-up period where people could apply online, and it's my job to get those people distributed out into the committee so that we can keep new people coming into the committee.
Right. So I'm assuming that we don't know exactly what the conference is going to look like next year. I'm assuming there will be a hybrid component,
They've already made it certain that there will be a virtual component.
Right.
Yeah.
So any challenges or things you're looking ahead at to figure out how to make the most of that, having survived this one as the first virtual and in-person conference?
I think one of the things that I've really learned is that what I want to focus on next year is kind of that intercommunication. Again, I think I mentioned it in our last session, between the in-person and then the virtual, and really having a very robust virtual team. I think that's really important for me, because I want kind of that experience which Jay has really worked to provide. I want to continue that for next year so that it's equivalent, as much as possible across virtual and in person.
That sounds like a good plan. Anything that you'd add to that, Jay?
So for me, part of my shift over onto the inclusivity side is that we started the SIG HPC CARES program this year, and this is a group of 12 people who have been trained and are known widely as being trustworthy. And so if anybody suffers a harassment issue or any discrimination or anything else like that, or bullying, and they want somebody to talk to for help, anybody that has one of these care buttons, they're able to come talk to us, and then we'll help them try to get a resolution to what they've dealt with.
Excellent.
And so that's kind of why I'm working a little bit more on the inclusivity committee this year, for next year. And as I'm there, I'm going to also try to tie that more closely with students, because the one thing that we've learned throughout all fields is that it's difficult to bring in people that don't exist in the community to make it more diverse and inclusive. So the best way we can do that is to make sure that we have a solid foundation of diverse students coming in, and then we can grow them into the field. And that's how we can truly make a long-term, sustainable, diverse environment.
Makes a lot of sense. Sounds like a really good plan. So I'd love to hear from the students about some of your highlights from the week this year, and also let me know, how long have you been involved in SC? How many conferences have you been to, or if this is your first? And what are some highlights that have happened this week so far? I know there's only one day left. We'll let you start, Connor.
Okay. So I've been involved with SC for 3 years now. This is my third year. I gotta say it was somewhat disappointing after 2019 and having just such a wonderful experience there, and then they're like, we have to shut it down for COVID.
Yeah, it was like the rant.
But I was so excited that we were coming back in person. And one of the things that I have to say that's been an absolute highlight of this week for me has been this opportunity to have a lot more intimate conversations with kind of more, important, bigger people, because there just aren't as many people around. And so it really gives us as like students or just like other individuals like a good opportunity to interact with them and use up their time because quite frankly some people are a little bored.
Right, to have some real FaceTime with these giants in the technology.
It really is kind of a blessing in disguise on some level that it's not as dense or as populous as it's been.
Right. Yeah. Elmir, what about you? What are some highlights?
Well, this is my first SC conference ever, and I've got to say it's been an amazing experience. Even though everyone's saying, oh, there's not that many people this year, all this and all that. I mean, this is the most people I've seen post-COVID in a while, so you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm loving this experience. I'm meeting so many people. I'm talking to so many diverse people. I come from Utah, not very diverse, and I get to meet people from all kinds of backgrounds, all kinds of stories, learning all kinds of new things, HPC, anything. And I love the learning. I'm here for the learning, and I believe I've gotten that.
Excellent. So it's mission accomplished for you.
Yeah.
Tasmia, what about you?
I would say there are many factors. For example, the exhibits. I always love this place because to be here, it's just so inspiring. There's so many computing fields and get to know that how similar work they are doing there compared to what we are doing in our universities. And also the vast range of the tutorials and presentations. There are some tutorials I attended that I wanted to learn but didn't get a chance to do that. But here in the tutorial and this year, due to virtual, they are giving the resources and the things that the tutorial recording that we can access later. So yeah, there's so much being exposure to the other fields and definitely seeing others' researches. There are other conferences, but I have not been to any conference that is this vast and this big.
Interesting.
And this is my third year, like Connor. So I came in 2019, but this is my second year as a student volunteer. So I'm glad that it's hybrid this year.
Okay, great. So what else, what haven't we covered that you guys really wanted to talk about, or anything burning that you wanted to say about your experience or the program, any advice you'd give to students that are looking to apply for the program?
Well, if I could interject real quick just about another experience that I had that I want to kind of throw a shout out and advertisement for is this last SC. We as scalers and student volunteers have had a lot of interactions with another program called the HPCI. It's HPC Immersion Program, and these are younger undergrads who have not had an opportunity to get really integrated into the field, and they're now coming in for sort of the first time getting exposed to HPC things. And I just wanted to say that that's another thing that I've really enjoyed this time, and that there's been this like tight interaction between our two groups.
Very cool.
Yeah.
When did you get started with the student program?
As a student volunteer in 2019, actually.
Okay.
I had never even been to supercomputing before and was told to volunteer by my advisor, and I'm so glad I did.
Excellent. When did you get started with the program? Just a year ago, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is my first year. I applied this year because through my department at the university, they actually have a booth here. So they're like, hey, do you want to apply, see if you can get in? I was like, sure. I mean, so I believe it was SC21 that was in Salt Lake City.
Okay.
Back then, I was just a high school student, so it was just kind of like a free get out of class and get a tour for me. So I never really thought much about SC.
Interesting.
So, you know.
But that means then you are a veteran of the high school tours program.
Yes.
Exactly.
We haven't had a lot of people talk about the high school program up here.
Yeah, so I mean, it was just I just remember getting an amazing tour from, I believe it was the student leads at the time. And it really did introduce me to a lot of HPC stuff, because in high school I was actually pursuing an astrophysics career. And seeing all this fun stuff, I remember seeing the Intel booth, and I was like, wow, that's something that's really interesting to me. And then I started looking into it more, and and it all led to here. So
And here you are.
here I am.
Yeah.
And I believe it was a great experience from all of that. So I'm grateful.
Great. Anything else anyone would like to add? Tasmia, anything?
Yes. One thing I would say, encourage other people to talk to people, because at first I felt a little bit of shy that there are so many big researchers, renowned researchers here. But it's so easy to go just talk to them. I think it's rare to find so many experts under one roof. So even like there were some after-hour events from hosted by different companies. Even when I visited there are people just hanging out. So it's really just go. I mean, I just used to just go to them. Hey, I'm graduating soon. What are you working? So that has been a really great experience for me to networking to people.
Great. So if anyone's on the fence about attending next year that's watching, attending virtually or in person, and they're able to come in person, would you tell them to come in person?
Yes, sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, strongly
Yeah.
endorse
If
it.
I may add, so this is my first time here, and I know that literally like the day before, a week before, I was contemplating, is this even worth it? I mean, all this, and then being here, it's such an amazing opportunity. I am by far grateful for being here, and if any student is ever on the fence, I would highly suggest that you give it a shot at least.
Great. Good to
Yes.
hear.
Yeah, it's one of those
What else?
that you can't win if you don't play.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
a perfect phrase.
I love it.
I would say that SC is great for taking care of student volunteers, from housing, from our travel, everything. That's really great. They take really good care of us. And with Alana and other people, they are so responsive that there are so many people just continuously chatting, but I don't know how they manage it, but they're really great at it.
So a shout out to the leadership of the
Yes,
student
definitely.
program.
100%. Yeah, they're next level. I mean, from any committee here, they really care about not just only us, but also the functioning of SC overall, like
Right.
on a different level.
That's-
Good job, guys.
Shout out to engineers people as well. So I'm sure that a lot of students, if they are ever on the fence or if they're ever, scared or anything about that, so I think that they would really appreciate that there's people out there looking out for them.
Yeah.
So
I'll bring up one other thing that we haven't really talked about, and it's kind of been outside of what people normally think about with SC, and that is this year's theme is Beyond Science, but that doesn't mean that this is the only year where we're going to do that kind of thing. So like in SC19, I had a Birds of a Feather session that was ethics and HPC, and the Birds of a Feather sessions are just like open discussions for people with shared interests. And that's just one example. There's like a research software engineering workshop where people who want to be doing hardcore software development but really want to kind of be embedded on the science side, that's a community for you. We have the SysPros workshop, which is people who are interested in system administration, because these large machines, being a system administrator is actually a really advanced skill set. It's not something that anybody can do.
Yeah.
And then the last one that I spend a good amount of time helping with is the Women in HPC and the Male Allies, and it's all about how do we expand this community and make sure that it's friendly for everybody. So there's places not just for different skill sets, but also to try to help make sure that you're as comfortable here as possible.
Excellent. Sounds great. Well, I think our time's about up. I do want to end with a fun fact from each of you.
I'm going to give two. So I play tennis, and I love playing Genshin Impact.
Whoa, really?
Yes.
Another connection.
Yes.
More of a nerd than I thought.
Yeah. I'm kind of quiet, so you never know.
Okay, I love that. Fun fact, Jay.
I have played Dominion Online with a set of friends spread across the entire country literally every day since April last year, and I had to skip this week because we've just been so busy. So that's been disappointing.
Well, I'm sorry about that. You can get back to it next week.
Oh, I got online with them last night just to say hello, and I'm still alive, but...
So they won't worry about you and
right,
send out the troops.
so I'm going to have to miss 10 days, which is 10 more days than I've missed in the last 20 months.
Well,
Yeah.
a big thank you to all of you for being here. It was a great conversation. Thank you so much. For those of you joining us on the live stream, stay tuned for the latest in high-performance computing from SC21 TV. Make sure to like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and plan to attend in person SC22 in Dallas next November. I'm Charla Bokikio.